See. So let's cut back to where we were as Pete was being asked about what was the last question that we went through, guys, before we had that interruption?
I think the last thing they caught was what time it was.
And then
410.
Mimi said one of us should go back to the train now.
Okay. So, yep, you guys have Venice spread out before you. What would you guys like to do? And who would like to go where? And of course, feel free to split the party beneath the purple sky.
You know,
I mean, I can go catch a train. They love me there.
All right. And then maybe Pete should stay. Well, I don't want to send you by yourself. Isn't there, what was that monster's name? Emile LeChamps or...
Monster?
Yeah, right. It wasn't you. Pete, do you remember what Emile looks like?
How could one forget that face?
It's a real ugly mug. Maybe you should go too, just so she doesn't bump into him on accident.
Well, I don't think it's a good idea for the two of you to go get Joe. He's not going to be expecting you.
All right. What do you suggest then, Mimi?
I don't know. It's a tough situation. Pete could go catch the train and I'll go with the two of you.
All right. You good with that, Pete?
Yeah, I think I should be able to find Renee, and also I can secure the quality of the social car for your arrival, of course.
You should see if you could get us 2 new tickets too, just in case.
Good thinking. And I'll talk to Renee and see what I can do.
All right. Well, listen, Pete, Mimi, here's what's on the line. They're gonna try to open up a portal. Some cultists. Meet them. Caduceus. And they're gonna try to bring aliens through that portal into our world and destroy this world. That's what we're up against. So, I guess let's get to work.
Do we have a timeline?
No, unfortunately not.
All right, great.
So, with everybody now up to speed, and absolutely no further questions or answers needed, we are going to split the party beneath the purple sky as we have Mimi and the Loopy, Honest Pete Abraham heading off towards the Orient Express.
No, I'm going with Barney and May.
Oh, okay. So we're
letting Pete go alone. Go on, Pete.
Okay, Loopy Pete's gonna wander off by himself into the. Okay,
It'll be fine.
We'll just cut to the chase. You guys never see Pete again.
Bye.
Or somehow Pete gets elected to Parliament.
Right, under an assumed
Equally
name.
likely.
The death of Honest Pete Abraham is but a whisper, but the roar of Honest Pietro Abramovich as he goes through the world becomes renowned. All right, so let's cut to the group that is going to the House of Pilate. You all go back forward and you kind of retrace your steps. Some of you, steps that were taken in a lifetime long ago and unremembered, as you get to the townhouse.
I've never been here before.
No. May definitely gives the kind of the meaningful side eye at Bunny that kind of just says, "Don't do anything stupid."
We're just gonna go in and we're gonna get answers. We gotta know more about this feast, about this pseudo-religious group. Maria. Look for Maria and look for Joe.
Knock, knock.
Yes.
As you walk up and knock the door, it lazily swings inward.
Always a good sign.
Are there any signs of, I don't know, like coats hanging up, anything that would suggest that there are multiple people here?
Roll me a spot hidden, and I will see what I can tell you.
Nah.
I mean, it looks like a house. You see coats up. You haven't been there for a while, Barney, so you can't remember if these coats were always hanging there or if it was indicative of visitors.
I'll start walking in and looking for people. Hello?
Sure.
Anyone here?
No answer.
Look back at Barney and May.
We did a ritual here, a spell, time magic. Maybe there's remnants of that spell here. He'll kind of start moving quickly through the house to the area where he remembers they did the ritual.
When you get there, whoever is with you may roll a spot hidden as you enter the room.
Woohoo.
Okay, May and Barney, as you all walk into this room, none of you, the two of you, retaining memories that are very distant. Mimi, this is a brand new experience for you. There isn't a body, there isn't a ritual. It seems to be a very clean, if somewhat cold area. However, the table that was used as a table of state that held the body of Peter Stagliani bears a kind of folded triangle note atop it.
May will go and pick it up.
It's written in English, and it says, "Went with your friend to the family crypt," and it's signed Maria Stagliani.
Family crypt.
Think that's close by?
Don't know how cemeteries are laid out around here. Okay.
Because she's not Stagliani. Her name is Pilate. Like Pontius Pilate.
Right,
Her
yes.
crypt could be here in Venice. There has to be someone who knows.
Right. I don't think there's anyone else in here.
How big is this property? Like that we saw when we were walking up?
It's a probably 3 total stories with 1 type of cellar and 2 above ground floors. It's like upper middle class for Venice at the time, but footprint wise, it's not very big.
Gotcha. I don't know where to go from here.
Maybe there's I don't know, maybe she has some paperwork or family possessions. If her father died, maybe there's something, a will, something that might indicate where the family crypt is. Barney will start looking around and investigating to see if he can find any breadcrumbs.
I'll
Sure
help.
thing. Yeah, anybody that wants to help, you can roll me the following: either a spot hidden or a library use. All kinds of stuff is found, but it takes you a bit of time as you all start to kind of break off and go through the office of Peter Stagliani, or Pilot, and you begin to kind of fashion together at least a bit of information here, a bit there, that when combined with everybody else might actually give you something, but that's going to take you the better part of an hour as you kind of pore over the books, which is plenty of time for us to cut over to our good buddy, Pete. So, Pete, as you make your way towards where you remember the birth or the station of the Orient Express being, I'd like you to roll a navigation to see how well you can remember to get there.
This will go well.
About an hour and a half later, for what would be about a 20-minute trip, you finally kind of crisscross and you realize that you've just missed it around this awning that kind of obscured a bit of your view. And it was the sound of a whistle other than the Orient Express that kind of brought you back around towards the train yards. And as you walk through, you see the majestic line of the Orient Express. And when you go forward, you notice one thing without a spot hidden roll. You see what looks like, or who is, the conductor, Rene Clement, as he is being escorted by local authorities, his hands bound behind his back, as he is being ushered away to points unknown.
Oh,
There's
boy.
a large military presence here as well.
Great. Okay, so like how many, like the military presence are you talking? Like how many people are we talking just in general?
You see about a dozen armed soldiers who have taken up an area around the train itself. They're not guarding people coming up to the train as much as it looks like they're guarding people, or kind of like guarding the train, as if their attention gaze focus and military prowess is spent observing and watching an inanimate object as opposed to the living city behind them. It's an odd way for this kind of action to be taking place. You've seen plenty of security personnel in your lifetime, Pete, and VIP clients, other politicians, and this is something that is decidedly strange, as it's like their backs are turned towards the potential targets.
Okay. How far off is Rene? Like, is he pretty much, he's on lockdown making his way out?
Oh, yeah, Rene is no hat, no jacket. He is, hands are bound at the wrist as he is being led, not very nicely, from the area towards points unknown. He is being shuffled towards what looks like there's a wagon and a horse-drawn, kind of a carriage type of situation here.
Okay.
And they're putting him in the back as they lower a metal bar, almost like a chairlift for skiing, over top of him.
Okay. Would there, can I do a spot hidden check to see if I recognize anybody who would be in a similar style of uniform that the previous conductor had been in?
Absolutely, yeah. It doesn't take you long as the haze of your situation is beginning to lift a bit, and you see somebody that's dressed almost to the way that Rene was, and this person seems to be talking with a man in a business suit and what looks to be a higher ranking member of the Italian military. You know this only because there are a few more accoutrements on the jacket itself.
Okay. Well, I think Pete being Pete would go and kind of attempt to get himself introduced to the new conductor.
Sure, absolutely.
And if possible, I would like to make a charming introduction.
Well, sure. Let's try a charming introduction as Pete, you kind of. Let's do this. I want this RP. Pete, you look like you just climbed out of a gutter because, you're covered in sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. How does Pete Abraham prep himself for this meeting?
Well, I definitely think a throwback of the flask, only because it's liquid courage, so why not? And I think with extreme confidence, because if nothing else, Pete is great at faking it until he has made it. So I think there's a lot of probably a lot of fluff, and probably something about how, the streets of Venice, that there should be a higher presence, and that obviously the military must be distracted, and that's why I was harassed and heralded on the streets of Venice while I was simply here looking at shops. So casting shade on that. The reason I'm roughed up is because thugs on the streets.
Fantastic. So when you get forward, I'd like you to roll a charm for me. I'll remind you that you do have an advantage should you need it, sent to you by Mr. Burke, but I'm sure you won't.
Let's hope not. Hard success.
Absolutely. So as you come forward and the smattering of Italian that goes back and forth, it's only a moment before it dawns on you that you understand exactly what's being said, despite not knowing Italian. This is another one of the things that you experienced just before you were swept to wherever you were from outside of the pilot house.
Oh no.
And as they turn and look at you and you explain to them your terrible time so far and the poor showing of the city of Venice, and especially of its military and police force, you are met at first with kind of indignation from the military official, which quickly turns towards shame in front of the man in the suit. And the conductor looks at both, steps forward, and kind of snaps you a bit of a salute bow type of combo, and immediately offers his hand and says, I am Henri Salk. I am the new conductor of the Orient Express.
Pete would absolutely, as a aspiring politician, would greet his hand openly, and that he would say, "Fear not, Henri, that this experience will cast no ill light upon my travels upon this beautiful locomotive."
Can we get you anything? I can usher you aboard the train, but we are going to take 3 days to check the cars and make sure that everything is as it should be here before we carry on.
And Pete would attempt to explain that it appears Renee has gone, and as it works out, that Renee was actually working on replacing some tickets for a few of my compatriots who were also traveling on this beautiful locomotive with a master now at the helm. That the predecessor is no longer there.
How many were in your party before?
Total of 5.
And the tickets you need, how many more?
Oh, simply 2.
We have many vacancies as people are leaving here in Venice and not continuing upon the Orient Express. So yes, 2 on the Orient. You free of charge, my friend.
Excellent. And Pete would also ask if he could call upon is it the porter? I forgot. Let me consult my notes for the name.
I'll get you through this.
Yeah.
Most of the staff is off of the train right now.
Okay.
They have been sent somewhere, most likely the Orient's version of debriefing, as everyone's being asked quite a number of questions, and the military remains here as if they are guarding something.
And in a moment though, am I able to get onto or into the luggage car? I need to find my legal case, like a briefcase.
Absolutely. You can absolutely. Henri will put you in there himself, and he will usher you through there himself, takes you in there. You're able to get your gear. You would notice, because your gear is in the same place, that Joe's is gone. That was a freebie. I would also let you know that Mal has given everyone 2 more advantages, my Olympians. So Mal has given 2 advantages to all. There was great reactions, Mal. I'm sorry that we're just on Vinny right now, but we'll go peek real quick. There they are, everybody! Yay!
And okay, so in the real quick, just as soon as Pete gets the briefcase, he would kind of dump everything out of it, any legal notes, probably a half-empty pint bottle, some various cigars or whatever, and begin on a blank sheet of paper writing down every crooked deal or ill connection that he possibly has ever worked, bad deal, money owed, money laundered, everything he can possibly remember having worked, he would begin writing it down on a note paper and keeping it in his briefcase.
Okay. As you're doing that, roll a luck check for me. You are
Regular
about...
success.
Yep. You have regular success for you, as you are about 3 or 4 of these events down as you continue to write, when you realize 2 of them take place in 1930. And you stop and kind of... They haven't happened yet.
Oh. Yeah, I would probably stop and just kind of stare down at the paper, and then take a look outside just to kind of keep an eye on the military presence and movements.
After you are given maybe a half hour to get all of your stuff taken care of, Henri says, I apologize, but you cannot stay aboard the Orient Express. You must, if you need lodging, we can pay for something in the town, but we are cleaning the train.
Understood, sir. And Pete would take his few belongings, the briefcase mainly, probably a bottle of booze if Henri would allow it.
Yeah, he seems to be rather forgiving. You get the feeling that quite a number of people weren't nearly as nice to him as you are. You also get the feeling that this is a terrible way to become the conductor of the Orient Express, because you have to make your first trip memorable and profitable, and you've lost roughly 2/3 of the passengers here in Venice. So Henri is behind the 8 ball, and he will do anything to keep you happy and aboard the train. So yes, if you walk by this social car and you snag a bottle or 2, he'll help you. He'll this one, yes, and he reaches over and pulls out and hands you whatever you'd like.
And of course, since Henri made the offer, Pete would secure lodgings for 5.
Okay. Yeah, you are set up at a very nice hotel close to the train station. your rooms will be noted as part of a block of rooms that the Orient has purchased, and messages will be sent there whenever it's okay to return to the train should you wish it.
Okay. If there's an outside cafe, just in order to ensure keeping an eye out, Pete would kind of put himself at kind of an outside location in a cafe or something near the train station, near the hotel. And again, continuing to write and probably looking back on what it was in 1930 that I wrote down.
As you go back through and start reading the things, they're names that you've never experienced or met, but they seem to be bits of information that would be very, very important. But as you continue to write, it's almost like automatic writing. You're just writing, and then you start the next line and write, and it's only upon kind of going back and studying over what you've written that these anomalies are revealed, these things that have occurred in the future at this point. But the one thing that you read that strikes you as odd, because it comes across more as a personal journal entry than as a bit of information or kind of a hint or secret about somebody. This one seems to be the most personal that you wrote, and it says, Joe Dietrich's a Nazi. Go figure that.
Yeah, I think Pete would probably just kind of blankly kind of look at it and then kind of look and try to make sense of it. Because, I mean, Pete hasn't known Joe that long, but he didn't pick up on it.
And at this point, in 1915, what the hell's a Nazi? So as you are sitting down, scribbling up thoughts and memories of a future yet unlived, we will cut back to the inside of the pilot house as you all put together the following. The House of Pilot, or the Pilot family, seems to have had a family crypt here in Venice, one of the oldest ones in the city, beneath the largest of its Catholic churches, a mere 3 blocks away.
Okay.
Barney's smoking a cigarette as they kind of go over the information and figure it all out. Well, that ain't too far at all. Should we go and get Pete? All of us go together.
Probably a good idea. I don't like being split up like this for too long.
Yeah, but that leaves Joe out on his own. In a crypt.
Well, hopefully the idea
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, as far as he knows, we're all gone.
Yeah, but Pete's not looking so good. I really don't like the idea of leaving him alone for too long. If he has another one of those seizures or episodes.
I don't know.
I'll go. I can go find Pete and bring him to you. May, you think you could handle Joe?
Handle him?
Finding him. Making sure he's all right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should be fine. At this time.
I won't be long.
I know.
Okay, so roll a navigation check for me as you are on your way back to the Orient Express.
Regular
Yeah, it
success.
takes you about 20 minutes.
Okay. And do I see Pete on the way? Is he hanging out near the train, or is he elsewhere?
Both of you roll spot hiddens.
You made it to the train before Pete did.
And walk right past each other.
So, Barney, as you're kind of like, there's the Orient Express, and as you're walking like down the last kind of side street to get to this train station, you hear from the outdoor cafe to your right. Go right ahead. Pete. You see-
Manny!
Oh, hey Pete. Hey, he goes over. Are you having a drink? What are you doing?
Yeah, probably still just writing, just continuously writing down and scribbling notes. Probably almost looking a little frenzied. Just like there's so many thoughts that I have. I'm trying to get them all down onto paper, and yet my hands don't move fast enough. But he would probably give you a heads up as to the new conductor, what he witnessed of Renee being taken away into a wagon in chains, and also would ask about Joe.
So Barney will to the conductor, he'll say, I think we got to be real careful with this Italian military. Italy's about to become a much more dangerous place over the next few years, and we don't know who's one of them, who's on the up and up. And as for Joe, we don't have a lot of time to talk about this right now, but Pete, do not trust him. Joe is a lot of things, and none of them are good.
His luggage is gone from the train.
Yeah. He's going to a crypt. That's why I came to find you. We're all headed there right now. He's with Maria Stagliani. She's taking him to her family crypt. It's about 25 minutes away. Are you all right, Pete? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried though, Barney. I can't explain this. And he would flip the paper over to Barney that he wrote about Joe Dietrich. And he would explain that I don't exactly know what this means. And again, Pete's still pretty shook up about the whole experience from last season.
Well, come on. I'll talk to you about it while we walk, and we can get moving right now. Hey, you still got that flask on you?
Always, Barney.
Mind if I partake?
And almost with a bit of upstep, Pete would happily open the flask and hand it off.
As
Barney?
this is occurring, I'd like a spot hidden roll from Barney, and I would also like one from Pete as the... Okay. I'll remind you guys that you have advantage, but...
Oh, yeah. Too late.
Too late. Okay.
Barney will take a longer drink than Pete has ever seen Barney take in either timeline, probably. He's more of a sipping man, usually. He'll hand back the flask as he leads him through the streets towards where he knows the church to be.
Well, as soon as Pete sees that Barney takes a big swig, Pete would probably put his arm around Barney and would probably say something that, well, it appears I had more of an influence on you than I suspected.
One of the best friends I've ever met my entire life, Pete. And I'm going to make sure that we get through this okay together.
That's amore.
Joseph Dietrich, being a Nazi, it's true. And Nazi, easiest way I can explain it is because they're bad. They're a nationalist movement. They're a hateful movement, a racist movement. They believe that they're better than everyone else, that they're chosen, these people, and these people alone.
Then what does that make us, Barney? He's with us.
Right now, the Dietrich you know is not the man he's going to become. And if he is, then we never saw it coming. This time, we're back here. And things are going to end up differently. But I need you with me on that, Pete. You wrote this down for a reason. And that's because you in the future, you knew what I know. And that's, you can't trust Dietrich.
Whatever you say, Barney. I'm with you.
All right. Well, if you feel another one of those seizures coming on or something, you just like hit me in the face, do whatever, get my attention.
I'm sure I can talk my way out of it, Barney. Have no fear.
Barney will just continue and try to catch up as quickly as he can.
Okay. So it takes you guys about 20 minutes to retrace your steps. And you are all back together in the House of Pilot. And the directions for the crypt have been confirmed. They're just a few blocks away.
Oh, and for the sake of informing, Pete would notify the other members of the party that he has achieved room and board at a beautiful 5-star hotel, the finest that Venice has to offer, courtesy of Henri, our new conductor.
Oh, are they are May and Mimi at the House of Pilot still? We're all four of us together?
That's up to them. If they are still there or if they have done something else. Oh, I'd like either.
Mimi probably would have been impatient to leave, but would have deferred to May and what she wanted to do. You wanna
May,
wait?
I don't know. She clearly kind of like looking back between, the direction they're supposed to go to the crypt and the direction that she saw Barney leave.
So, what happened with you and Joe? Because from where I was sitting, although it wasn't that long, I thought you liked him.
I did, at some point. A lot of things happened.
I'm sure.
I don't know what he's doing. Why is he with the crypt?
I mean, none of us were here, so just moving forward, probably.
Moving forward, right.
So you want to go or you want to wait?
We'll wait.
All right.
Where are you all waiting? Sorry, I was muted in Zoom. Where are you all waiting?
In the house, I guess. Just waiting
Yeah,
for
just-
him to come back.
Yeah, just around the front foyer part. May has some memories of that tablet, the carvings, and she's just kind of idly looking around. Again, we'll sometimes poke her head out and just kind of look in direction where there's supposed to go in direction where.
Good. Roll me a spot hidden.
Great.
We really suck at seeing stuff today.
Venice is beautiful. Purple sky, but beautiful.
Yeah, May's definitely squinting her eyes at the sky, silently cursing out weird magic.
It's just about 10 or 15 minutes later that Pete and Barney roll up. And you guys exchange all the information as it was exchanged before. What would you like to do, Olympians?
Crypt time. Wow.
We should go.
Sooner we get there, the better. I don't trust that, Maria.
Why not?
Well, she's a member of the House of Pilot, and I know that it wasn't me and it was me and it was a different time, but we learned that there's some feast day of Pilot planned. It all sounds like a cult to me. And if there's anything I know about cults, especially old, powerful cults, they're rarely good.
I mean, the church is kind of like an old cult, too.
Church creeps me out too. Don't like these old churches.
We should go.
Pete, are you taking all of your notes and things with you? Are you keeping them on your person?
Oh boy, yeah, I probably would be in my legal case.
Okay. The only reason I ask is that's something new that you've added to your kind of loadout.
Okay.
So if at any point you don't want that to be on, Pete, let me know. So
Okay.
I'll just assume that you have it on you from this point forward.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All right. Oh, no. I
Okay.
need clarification to know what everyone's got on them. As you all then make your way towards this large basilica type structure, it looms out of Venice. It dominates an entire city block and in many ways lords over the city as a structural ruler, perhaps not as pious as it possibly could be. But there it is. And Pete, you are easily able to pick up some of the signage, some ancient, some rather new, indicating that there are crypts and an entrance to them in the back.
Pete would point it out hesitantly.
Does anybody else read Italian?
No.
Pete is pointing towards an Italian sign.
No, what's it say, Pete?
Pete would, in a great imitation Italian accent, would translate the sign.
We don't get a chance to hear that.
What was the exact sign verbiage?
Crypts this way.
Crips are this away, huh? That's
Nailed
the best
it.
I got.
It was a really good Pete accent there. All right, well, I guess the crypts are that way.
He
Okay,
raises an eyebrow, but just starts walking that direction.
as you all are walking through, this is winter in Venice, so the kind of chilled and frozen water vapor that lingers everywhere adds an icy quality to the purple sky above, which adds to the surreal feeling as well as the visuals for this place. But as you creep along and go behind, you are able to see that there is a large kind of topical structure that seems to be a place of worship for the Blessed Mother. Um, and inside this kind of sub chapel, a large set of marble stairs descend into and beyond the ground level. You can only assume that that is the entrance.
Does it seem like people are going in or out? Like, does it appear frequented?
There are several candles lit. I'll give you that one, but you can't tell if there's nobody else here.
Besides the candles, it's pretty dark inside, from what we can tell.
Very dark at the bottom of the stairs.
All right, I'll go first and stick to the shadows, just to make sure it's safe. And slips into the shadows, and he'll pull out his shotgun.
Okay. So as you're able to pull out your shotgun from under your long coat, luckily it's winter and not summer, and you are able to keep the firearm on you. You creep down the bottom, and I'd like you to roll me a spot hidden here, but it's going to have to be a hard or better as the light is failing dramatically.
I will use one of my advantages on this.
There you go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why those advantages are so important.
Thanks, Dwight.
As you go down, spot hidden, that's his thing too. As you go down and reach the bottom of these stairs, you realize a couple things right away. There is no further descent into the earth, but it appears as if this crypt goes off on a plane, as if it spreads in a wide path as opposed to a stacked or deep path. And as you're in the shadows, it's not so much what you can observe in the shadows as ahead you see the flicker of torchlight, maybe 150 yards deep into this length of hallway.
He'll motion just in case the others aren't right behind him. And kind of point out the torchlight quietly.
Are we trying to be sneaky?
I think we should, just in case.
I mean, she left a note, though.
Yeah, it could be a trap.
All right.
If we're being sneaky, let's roll some sneaky stealth.
Oh, God.
Regular success for Barney.
Your friends are not stealthy.
Yeah, they didn't fumble.
Good job, Barney. Everyone else, not so much. Okay, so you all seem and sound pretty quiet as you're creeping through this underbelly of Venice. And as you kind of make your way through, you can see the kind of long shelving on either side holding the remains. But you can also see that in the way that in which these are stacked and plated, that you would only assume that several corpses, several remains were probably interred in the same spot, which somebody roll me a history check, or everybody roll me a history check. I'll also take occult here too, just for Barney's sake. super duper sacrilegious to do this. Yes, Mimi, you know, and Barney, you know, that you're never in the Catholic Church supposed to bury two people in the same plot unless it's a predetermined wish of like a family or a husband and a wife, and still that is frowned upon when set into the earth together. Here, throughout the length of this area, you see and can tell from your occult rolls that there are several remains that seem to be kind of laid on top of one another, and it's almost as if they are using an economy of space or selling people plots in a crypt over and over again. As you get further into, as you guys get further into the area, you all hear a and May, you feel something light on the back of your hand.
May immediately just kind of reactively.
As you pull your hand up, it's so dark in here that it's really the cast of the torchlight ahead that gives you any type of indication, and it's still pretty far away. But as you pull up your hand, you can see the reflection in the eyes, the great gem-like cut bulbous eyes of a fly, a blowfly that's probably 2 to 3 inches long.
Oh, God.
And when it buzzes, you can feel the entire back of your hand all the way down into the bones of the back of your hand. As it like walks around, and you can feel the pressure of each of its furry legs as it walks.
Yeah, May is using her other hand and just off.
You, just as you go, even with its smaller counterparts, as you go to sweep it from the back of your hand, it takes off a beat before and is able to kind of get above the range of your attack. But you can still hear that loud, almost vibrating as it drifts off. After that little exchange, everyone roll a spot hidden for me.
I'm gonna use an advantage on this. Jesus Christ.
You are 1 point away, Kiana, if you want to spend a point of luck.
Yes, I'm gonna use 1 point of luck. Jesus.
Okay, so with your point of luck being spent, you realize as you kind of turn back around and head towards the torchlight, you're the first to see that the torch has been stuck in a sconce. And you're the first to hear the click of the revolver from the shadows behind you. What the hell are you people doing here? Turn around.
Yeah, turn around.
A hand torch or an underminer electric battery powered light clicks on, and as it shines in the eyes of each of you, it shines in Mimi's eyes, it shines in Pete's, and then it shines in May's and Barney's, but it lingers there. Who the hell are you two? Mimi and Pete. I've seen their pictures, but I have not seen you. Who are you?
I'm trying to squint my eyes and trying to see who this person is despite the light.
Are we able to make out anything about him?
Roll me a spot hidden. You'll need a hard or better.
I'll use one of my advantages.
All right. This looks to me that the only person that saw would be Pete, correct? Pete, as you see the face, you don't recognize it, but it seems to kind of dismiss you or recognize you. And as you make eye contact, the person lowers the light and reveals a handsome man with black, kind of slicked over hair parted to the side and a mustache across his top lip. As he looks at Pete and Mimi. Jack Kilgrave, the fuck are you people doing down here? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will end this episode of Project Cronus. Yay! Awesome. Alrighty. Let's go around to all my friends. Let's go in reverse order. Summer, how are you doing?
I'm so excited! Yay! Please don't shoot us, Jack. I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be back. This is a great first session back. There's so much to uncover. There's so much just tension that I can't wait to explore and see May and Barney from 33 with Joe again. I'm so ready for it. I can't handle it. But yeah, I'm Summer. You can find me on Twitter at just a summer job. I retweet everything that I do there. I have a channel here on Twitch called Off the Table. That's off_the_table. Play a bunch of games there. But yeah, I cannot wait for next week. These people are the best, and I'm so happy that we're back.
Nice. And let's drop backwards to Dawn. Dawn, how are you doing? Welcome back to 1915.
I'm great. Yeah, I love that session. I like every session that we play of this game, but there's a certain amount of urgency now, being the start of a new season and a new story after everything that we kind of learned last season as we unraveled a lot of the mystery. There's a lot more mystery left. I can't wait to find it all out. I'm excited to be down in the crypt. There's something about being in a crypt that's always really fun for me and compelling. And yeah, I loved everybody's characters. I can't wait for next week. You can find me on Twitter at Donathan Fry. I'll tweet about the stuff that I do. And on Wednesdays here on Greg's channel, I'm with Greg and Kiana and some other awesome people for our Dragonlance 5th edition D&D game, May Black Roses Bloom. Just like with this show, I'm loving that show. Yeah, I'm really excited about next week.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. And we jump straight up to May. Kiana, how'd it go? Welcome back.
See, Holy Secrets is not that bad, Greg. But Jesus fucking Christ.
I can do it too.
Yeah, I know you can. This is why we just go back and forth on this, Greg, forever. But man, I miss playing with this crew. I missed all the weird and wild and just mind-bending stuff here. So I can't wait for next week and to see what else we uncover. Ha! I'm just gonna scream for a bit. That's my normal go-to after these games. But you can find me over on Twitter at KillenS. Best way to figure out what I am doing, because I am all over the internet playing games a lot of the times. But like we said before, I'm here on Wednesdays doing May Black Roses Bloom. So that's also a fun time. So yeah. But next Saturday, Jack fucking Kilgrave. Where the fuck did you go before? Now you're here. Find out what's happening there.
Yep, we will find out in the crypt in Venice next week as we drop over to our final person who was arguably put through the ringer again this episode as we talk to one Finny. Finny, how did you enjoy your time back in Pete's shoes in 1915, 33, and an alternate 1933, since you're living them all at once?
Well, it was terrifying to begin with, but I like the fact that before there was TripAdvisor, there was Honest Pete Abraham, who could secure hotels and guarantee tickets way before the information superhighway was invented by Al Gore. So, but I had a blast. I think season 2 has started out in an amazing manner. And if I could, just real quick, I would like to do a small Honest Pete fireside chat and give a small shout out to Kiana and Dawn for the amazing role play with Ruby at the very beginning. That was the moment where I was like, this is going to be great. So I would just like to give a ringing endorsement into that little bit of RP today. You guys, that was amazing. I am Flathagen. You can find me on Twitter and here every Saturday because, Greg, you are my everything.
Oh, I love you, buddy. And I'm going to steal a little bit. Are you kidding me? Did we just drop again? I certainly hope not. As I'm about to speak. Let me check. Are we still up? I'm getting the Circle of Doom again. Nope. Yes. Up. Rolling. Yes. Okay. I hope we are still up anyway. So as we are, looks kind of froze. Oh, lovely. Everything's, there we go. We okay? Whatever. I'm going to keep talking. We're almost done anyway. Just my stupid voice you have to deal with for just a couple seconds. I would say this before we leave, if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. Yeah, Mom, get off the phone. I'm using the AOL. Everybody, coming up in America on this Tuesday, it's your day to vote. If you haven't voted yet, with early voting, you should go vote on Tuesday because that's a good thing. And we like to do good things here. And yes, go vote. If you can't hear me, go vote, everyone. But until next week, have fun in 2018. Do your duty to make it a better 2018. And we'll see you in 1915. Goodbye.